What is up, people? As I tweet out the link here to the show. How's everyone doing tonight? It's Chris and Matt's Wrestling Podcast. I am just a few minutes in the door from going to see The Matrix at the cinema. And yeah, it's a beautiful Thursday. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing lovely. I am not watching the football game we talked about before we went live because to hell with Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. We will talk Detroit Lions football here in a little while. Not the best of weeks, but still got to talk. If we got to talk about the good stuff, we got to talk about the bad stuff as well. So we'll get to some wrestling before that, and then I also have a little bit of Yankees topic. I gotta throw at you because I have a bad feeling.
Don't, God, don't shut up. I you know what? I think I already know where you're going with this. I'm just gonna spit it out right now. Tigers get in the playoffs, play the Yankees in the first round, and knock them out. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, we usually wrap up about this time, so I figure let's just cut it now. Why? Why you got to be that way?
Because
they're the best team in the American League. They're fine.
They should be fine, but we know how this goes. Both recent Yankees history and the last few times Yankees and Tigers have faced in the postseason. So I just got that feeling that's what's gonna happen.
And Shut up.
Okay. All right.
We can talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. Leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not. I will be on Late Night Grin again tomorrow for a grin along, as they call it. We're going to be watching 1997's One Night Only pay-per-view. So
great main event. I love that main event.
Yeah. It's a good show. Good times. I watched the Shawn Taker Hell in a Cell match earlier today. It was on the WWE Vault YouTube. It just popped up on my algorithm. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll watch this. So
yeah. Is the One Night Only, isn't there a dark match where Brett wrestles Taker on there too?
I think it's on the show.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was a dark match or not, but I swear that happens at that show. Yeah, and it's another really good match. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the show. I think Owen wrestles Vader or something like that. And then, Sean Bulldog. So, but
good stuff.
Looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. There's going to be like 100 people on the panel, so that'll be fun. But it's going to be awesome. So check that out tomorrow night. I believe we're going live around this time right after SmackDown. So.
Oh, that's a hell of a lead-in.
Yeah. Sorry to all you people who watch Rampage, but
I'll be nice this week.
There you go. Speaking of SmackDown, last week was the re-debut on the USA Network.
Yeah.
New logo and everything.
It's a logo.
Out of all the SmackDown logos, it is certainly one of them. But overall, I like the presentation. There's some new looking graphics, some new camera shots and stuff, and got a hell of an angle to open and close the show with. We got the. Or do we have a babyface 2-man power trip on our hands?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you mentioned it. You and I had texted during the show. I really like the presentation changes they made. I like the way the show looked. You mentioned the camera angles and things like that. It just kind of freshened things up a bit. The logo is awful. It's terrible. Hopefully they're not committed to it for like several years and they bail out soon. But whatever.
I see the attempt. I see what they are attempting to do, but it looks like it says smack own.
Yeah, there's I was following a thread today on one of the social medias. It was probably Twitter, about just how like graphic design in general is dead. Like PayPal redid their logo, and essentially all these companies, they hire somebody, they take a font, they turn it up to 60 point. They're like, "Here's your new logo," is what this person was saying. And that SmackDown logo has a little bit more design, but not great, just not good stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I mean the big thing was Cody and Roman deciding if they're going to work together to take down the Bloodline. This storyline is hit enough where I'm going to give it some grace, but on the surface, I think it's real. I think that's a stupid idea. Why would Cody get involved with this? If this doesn't end like when Sting helped Flair and then the Horsemen just jumped him and beat the crap out of him, like that's what I would. I mean, come on, like how stupid is this guy?
Yeah. I mean, it's
gonna get
like
locked
when
in the ring with all of those savages, all the Bloodline, and suddenly he just trusts Roman to have his back. Come on, like this is what I talk about when I say the inability of baby faces not to use their head, where they put themselves in these stupid situations. I don't like it.
I mean, it's not all that different from when like Rock and Austin would have to team up back in the day.
Yeah, except for The Rock didn't have a gang of people that had spent 6 months beating the hell out of him like in the last calendar year. You know what I mean? This would have been like Austin in late '97 is like, well, yeah, I'll team with The Rock, even though he was just in the nation and they were jumping me every week. Like it doesn't make any sense. It makes Cody look stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially in the lead up to the match with Solo, he's like, this is it. I'm done. I'm not messing with them anymore. I'm moving on to something else. And then within the course of the same night, he's like, I already told you I'm done. Never mind. I changed my mind. They beat me up another time. So now I'm willing to fight. It just wasn't for me.
Well, but if they come out and attack him and he's just like, yes, I'm still done with this. Like, then he kind of looks like a coward. So he can't win either way.
He said he was done. You'll walk away, but whatever. The stuff with Roman getting into the cage and like locking him when he grabbed that door and pulled it shut, like now you're trapped with me. That was really good stuff. I liked everything up until Cody and Roman are going to team at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. See what where the story develops tomorrow night, and then as we head into Bad Blood. What else was on SmackDown? We had the fifth match in the Andrade Carmelo series, and now Andrade gets a shot at LA Knight's US title.
Yep.
And then we got a match tomorrow night it's a tag team match, and if Bayley or Naomi beat either Nia or Tiffany, then whoever gets the pinfall gets the title match against Nia at the pay-per-view. But if Nia and Tiffany win, whoever gets pinned has to leave SmackDown.
Sure.
So that's fine.
Yeah. So I think Naomi's going to get the win somehow. And then Nia will blame Tiffany.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Right. Trying to remember, that was pretty much it. I mean, there was the never-ending feud between Kevin Owens and A-Town Down Under.
Where this Ricky guy is going to be a star in a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm serious. You watch. I said it when I was watching the show with the Wrestling Barometer. I'm like, this thing is gonna blow up. There's gonna be signs in the crowd of like, "Where's Ricky?" and all that stuff. I'm telling you, that guy's gonna end up with a little James Ellsworth type run out of this.
He's he and his tag team partner, I can't remember what their tag team name is on the Indies, but they're wrestling FTR here in a little bit on a prestige show or something like that.
Oh, nice. I think I saw a clip or a screen grab where He's already been on an AEW show as
Mhm.
an underneath guy or something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, probably whenever the last time they were in Seattle in that area. So, because that's where they were last night or last week for SmackDown was Seattle. So,
Yeah, I think. I mean, that would be. I feel like that Ricky kid's going to get a little run out of this. Where's Ricky?
could be.
Where's Ricky? And he gets forgotten every week, and then he finally gets to have his match, and he just gets squashed in 12 seconds or whatever. You could turn it into a Barry Horowitz type thing where he finally gets a big win, and people, and because it's not Brian Myers, it's not going to feel like, well, we've already seen this guy
No.
on TV for years. Like we need to see him win because he's never been on the show before.
He's like number 14 in the Rumble next year.
Right. He gets Joe Hendry's spot because everyone thinks Joe Henry's going to be in the Rumble.
I'll be shocked if Joe Henry's not in the Rumble.
Right. He should be. He should absolutely be if you're going to do this partnership. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the show. They got an overrun. There's a rumor going around that once Raw goes to Netflix, then USA is going to turn SmackDown into 3 hours. I don't know if I buy that. I don't see what the value is for a third hour on Friday night. I get that, but like, is it worth it? Look at Rampage.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're making so much money right now. Like, the network is gonna, and WWE isn't gonna say no to that. Like, even if it doesn't mean more money on their deal, like they're gonna keep doing it.
Right. No, I understand why WWE would say yes to the request. I don't understand why USA Network would make the request, is what I'm saying. But
what's going to draw in more advertisers? An extra hour of SmackDown or 2 episodes of Modern Family? Like,
fair.
It's not like they don't have like a big TV show that's going to be airing on a Friday night at 10 o'clock.
Right. That's true.
But the sickos that watch every single minute of SmackDown every week are probably going to draw a bigger audience than anything they could put in that spot.
Yeah, maybe. Saturday night's the main event is official for mid-December.
14th, right?
Yeah. I hope they can do better than when they did it in like the mid 2000s. So
I feel like the one that I went to, I thought was really good.
It was
but
good.
Then after that,
it was like the next one was okay, and after that they just didn't. I think one of them had like a John Cena Great Khali main event or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that was really deep in the LOL Cena wins era, where it was just like you didn't have to watch what he was doing, and he was the focal point. So
yeah,
but yeah, it'll be. I'm hopeful they bring back the red, white, and blue ropes and give it that old school look and feel. I doubt they will, just because the way the presentation is.
I want the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
I want the theme song.
The montage of promos at the beginning of the show.
Yep. Yes, exactly. I hope they do. I hope they do like make it retro, but also, in a modern way, I guess, just flourishes that make you go like feed that, nostalgia itch, and then,
right.
But also makes it feel like it's not 1980.
Don't forget to get the Prime logo on every single open piece of screen.
Yeah. I should banners. I gotta bring banners back. Just hang a Prime logo banner in the arena.
Oh, Jesus. Don't give them any ideas.
I miss the banners.
Okay. Fair enough.
The big WWF banner in one corner, Ico Pro banner over here.
Ico Pro. All right. Fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. So, It was long rumored and talked about, and they finally made the official announcement earlier this week. So,
And it'll give him a little something to build towards in between the gap from Survivor Series to the Rumble. So
right, because there's no pay-per-view in December. So, who knows what, maybe that's where you do Roman Cody 3.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not 1989 anymore, man. Not enough people watch the regular television. I don't see that. That could be The Rock. That could be The Rock's big return and where he confronts Roman or whatever. Because I feel like, we kind of skipped over it, but I feel like this whole partnering with Cody thing is going to be the catalyst for Dwayne to come back and be like,
Definitely.
you abandoned you fought family and you brought in an outsider. This is bloodline business. Bloodline handles it. Blah blah blah. So that could be The Rock's big, big moment. He can tell everyone it was his idea to bring back Saturday night's main event and do a big angle with him and Roman.
Yeah, could do that. Do a big contract signing angle on the show.
Right, or just his return. He returns
Yeah.
and confronts Roman. It doesn't even have to be anything after that.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, looking forward to that. And then on Monday, Raw continued to be pretty good. I'm really loving this Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman feud where they just like do all this insane shit to each other. Like 5 seconds into the match, Bronson Reed ran into the corner and ended up ripping the turnbuckle out of the post. And then we both love the Braun Strowman yeeting an office chair spot, right?
yes.
Well, Bronson Reed took it up a level. He took a fan out of the crowd and threw him at Braun Strowman. I was like, that fucking ruled.
It was definitely something different. It was definitely a different way of doing that spot. So
yeah. What did you see CM Punk's promo? What did you make of it?
I thought it was good. I saw a lot of people like, oh, that's the best promo he's ever done. I think one of the Busted Open guys was like, oh, that was incredible. It was a solid promo. I'm not going to buy into it because he's been like, oh, I'm going to kill Drew McIntyre in the previous two matches, and then they've essentially just been kind of wrestling matches. So, he promised blood, that sort of thing. We'll see if it actually happens.
There has to be blood in this match now. I'm not like usually well, there has to be blood person because I'm just like, well, whatever, but I mean, Cody got color in that cage match on Friday. Like, they need to have both men need to be busted open in this Hell in a Cell match.
Sure. And look, I've been critical of the matches themselves, but Hell in a Cell is kind of the perfect way for this to close out. I think Punk has needed a lot of the guys, they like to say, to cover up that he's still not as on point in the ring as the rest of the crew, maybe. And if he hits an 8 on the Muda scale in this match, no one's going to care what happens that gets to that point. It'll just be they beat the hell out of each other. They were bleeding buckets. How awesome was that?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the best match out of the three. If I had to guess, I think they're going to pull out all the stops on this one.
I don't know. I mean, what does that even mean though? Like, pull out all the stops in a Hell in a Cell match? I kind of feel like Hell in a Cell matches have all kind of become the same. They're just street fights in a cage. Like,
sure. I guess I just mean like, we both like. I've enjoyed their two matches more than you have, but I think even I can agree. Like, it feels like they're just like, almost like they're saving something. Like they're not ready to go because they knew that this was going through 3 matches. So they're like, well, we can't do everything we want to do in these first 2 matches because we gotta save something in the tank for the final match.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just going to be whatever. But I hope not.
I'm cynical on most gimmick matches at this point because if you've seen one, I feel like you've seen most of them. Unfortunately, you mentioned can't remember if we were on air when you mentioned it or not that you had watched Shawn and Taker's Hell in the Cell.
Mm-hmm.
After the first couple, there's really nowhere else to go if someone's not falling off the cage. So that it like I said, it just kind of it's turned into it's a street fight, but they're trapped in a cage and they can't run anywhere. And all of them tend to rely on weapons under the ring and they went through 4 tables and blah blah blah.
Fair. Judgment Day the Judgment Day stood tall again this week. Over the prone bodies of the Terror Twins. Jey Uso tried to make the save, but Braun Breaker.
Too many B's.
See, too many Brauns. That's
Yeah, Braun, and
Bronson. Yeah, maybe old pervert was onto something. But about not having. We can't have this guy because we already have one of those. Goddamn, that guy.
I had to think when you say old pervert in wrestling, I kind of have to think about which one you're speaking of at this time.
That is fair. That is
continue.
Fair. But where was I? Yeah, Braun Breaker hit a hellacious spear on Mr. Jey Uso when he tried to make his way down for the save. So I'm looking forward to that match. I believe that's Monday night that they're doing the IC title match. So looking forward to that. And yeah. So what else happened on Raw that was interesting? Bianca and Io had a hell of a match. And
that's
Bianca
what I heard.
Took the loss. So see how that plays into things going forward. And yeah, that was about it, I think.
I didn't see all of Raw this week.
Yeah.
I watched all of Dynamite last week. I watched all of SmackDown, watched parts of Raw. It's too much. It was too much for me to get to. And I felt like with last week being the season premiere, or was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, whenever.
I just felt like this was going to be a little bit of a filler episode, and by all accounts, it's kind of what it was.
Yeah, yep. So, still really good though. I really liked it. There are some people who are saying it was one of it might have been their best episode of Raw since Mania. So, I don't know. So, all right. I don't have anything else wrestling, unless you do.
I mean, we should probably mention the AEW deal. Looks like it's locked up. Just waiting on a formal announcement, but major trade publications have picked up that it looks like it's happening, and that Rampage and possibly Collision are going away.
Yeah,
sounds like Rampage is leaving for sure, and they're shopping that, I think it's called Shockwave, to Fox. But $170 million a year. That's insane. I can't believe I can't believe they got that kind of deal. I'm curious to see if it's like locked in, or if Warner Brothers has an out clause of like, hey, if the ratings hit a certain level, we can cancel the deal, no strings attached.
I would imagine, if anything, it's an option year where after, say it's a 5-year deal with 2, so 3 with like 2 option years or whatever.
Well, I heard the one report said it was 4 with a 5th, but I would guess with the way that the things have kind of been going over there, Warner Brothers has got some protections in place beyond that. I mean, if Rampage is going away, it doesn't matter. But Rampage and Collision combined last week didn't do the number that NXT did.
Right.
And I know it's played out to talk about the ratings and the attendance, but like it is still a business. And yeah, Warner's giving them money now, but if they don't have to 12 months from now because AEW doesn't live up to their end of the deal, that could be a problem.
Yeah. As long as Dynamite keeps finishing, no matter what the number is, as long as Dynamite keeps finishing at the top or towards the top of their night on cable, I think they're going to be happy. So, but yeah, I mean that's good. Again, it's good for the business. It's good. It's more money for them to throw at people that deserve it, and whether they go over there or are able to get a comparable deal to stay at WWE or whatever the case may be, get these guys and gals a little more money. That's a good thing.
And I hope it also puts enough money in AEW's pockets where they can start to address problems that have been going on for 5 years now of like how terrible their merchandise is and how their live event has experience it's gotten pretty crappy, like that a lot of people have pointed out, and just kind of up some of the standards so that it feels like it's worth going to their shows.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like as far as the merch goes, it seems like they're, for whatever reason, committed to Pro Wrestling Tees as being their licensee or whatever, however you want to put it, the company that makes their shit. And until that changes, they're never going to have the in arena merch capabilities that WWE does. It's just not going to happen.
It's not that difficult of a process. It's really not. They just don't want to put the money into it. But like the reason I bring it up is it came out like an hour ago or maybe a little bit longer that Lucha Bros are headed to WWE. Like the deal's done. WWE is already producing merch for them, including masks that people have been asking for 5 years now since they debuted on AEW. There's rumors going around that Kevin Owens' contract is up and AEW is prepared to make a substantial offer. And since they have all this extra money now, they might be able to do it. But what happens when some of these talent come over and go, hey, look, I want my merchandise in the building. I don't want my fans to have to order it from Chicago. I feel at some point the wrestlers themselves are going to start to push this a little more. And as a consumer, it's a big part of the reason why I like to go to shows. You're the sort of guy of like, as soon as we get there, you go to the merch stand. You want to go get the shirt of your guy. Knowing now when you go to AEW shows you're not going to get what you want, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Because I'd much rather buy it at like you said, I'd much rather buy it at the arena than to order it online and wait for it to, it's that instant gratification of, here's my money, give me my shirt, now I have it, so.
And like, I like Pro Wrestling Tees as a company. You know it. I know it. I bought some stuff from there that isn't the greatest quality either. You wash it once and it starts to rip and fade. And I've got this Steve Austin hoodie that is literally 18 years old. I've got 2 holes in the pockets of it. I've got Pro Wrestling T-shirts that I had for 6 weeks and I can't wear them anymore because everything is cracked and faded. So
is that a Stephen Barry's?
It is a Stephen Barry's original, baby.
I still got my Shawn Michaels.
That's right.
Hoodie. That's there.
Right.
The same thing, the pockets are all ripped out, but other than that,
I've got 2 holes right where the pockets are sewn together. Don't have any other problems with this hoodie. I've had it for literally almost 20 years.
Yeah. So, mine's a little more snug than it used to be, but other than that, like I said, is right. It's not a hole. It's just where the pocket's attached. They've ripped on either side. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing with me.
Good old
Stephen
Barry's. Missed that place. Yeah. So yeah, I know. It's just like you said, it's seemingly such an easy fix, but I don't understand why they don't fix it if it's such an easy fix. Like, it's one of those things I just don't understand.
Well, and we still need to see the deal.
They
I
fired the
hope
person
this-
that was supposedly the problem with the merch, just like they fired the person that was supposedly the problem with the locker room.
Yeah. I hope the influx of cash gives that company enough of like, okay, we don't have to be just like WWE, but we need to present the product and give the fans an experience that is similar to WWE. Hopefully that happens.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. All right. So you said I missed that because I was in the movie. You said so. The reports are that it's official with the Lucha Brothers, right?
They haven't made any announcement, but like
everyone's.
It looks like it's pretty much like done, and they're headed to the main roster. Like they're actively producing merchandise. So.
Main roster. That's interesting. Same thing. It sounds like machine guns are coming in at some point here soon. So.
Right, and going to NXT.
Yeah. So.
Which I hate, but whatever. It's not my company.
So I'm guessing they're going to be used as player coaches at this point, probably more than anything. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they get at least a short little main roster run to, take care of a couple, I wouldn't even necessarily call them dream matches, but them against the Usos would be fun. Them against New Day would be cool. Like, do those.
They have, if they're bringing in the Lucha Bros and the Machine Guns, they have the nuts and bolts to have like an 8 to 10 team tag division, just like the company they just came from, where you can interchange them and have fresh, interesting matchups and feuds. You tell me the Machine Guns versus DIY wouldn't absolutely slap? That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see that on NXT. I want to see that on a big stage.
Yeah.
And then you throw them in there with the why am I blanking on their names? The guys that are hanging out with Gable right now. The Creed brothers.
Yes.
Creed brothers and Machine Guns, the Lucha Bros and them. You mentioned the New Day. I said DIY, A-Town Down Under. There are teams in there that could really build that division back up.
Yeah. You're right there. Uh-oh. We lost Matt. I hate when this happens. Poor Matt. Anyhow, well, when the gas gets back, I think we'll transition and talk about our sports teams. I'm gonna do that, and hopefully he's able to come back here soon. We shall see. Nope. Okay. Yeah, hopefully he's back here in a minute. While we wait for Matt, again, leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. tell us what matches you're looking forward to seeing with Lucha Brothers and the Machine Guns. So, I think we got them back.
Yeah, we'll see. Whatever.
All right. Yeah, I threw up the Motor City, and then you just disappeared. You were gone. So
I've had enough of them in my life. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, and I mean, to close it out selfishly, yeah, I'd love to see a couple guys from our neck of the woods get on WWE TV.
Yeah, I mean, you've interviewed them before, right? Can't you get some sort of exclusive with them?
Well, now if they're signed with WWE, I'll never get to talk to them again without going through somebody. But I've interviewed them both twice, and I've interviewed Shelly separately. I mean, they went to high school 20 minutes from me, so
right
from where I went to high school. So yeah, it would be really cool to see them get that spot.
Hell yeah. All right. You want to do Lions or you want to do Yankees first?
It's both gonna upset me, so with your dealer's choice.
We'll go Yankees real quick. Yankees clinch the playoff spot. They're probably going to end up winning the division. So that's the good news. History has put this fear in me that as hot as the Tigers are right now, it looks like they're, barring them falling off a cliff all of a sudden, because the Twins don't seem interested in putting up any kind of a fight.
Well, to be fair, they're putting up a fight. They just keep losing in extra innings, so they're trying, but
yeah.
You're not you watch the Yankees. You're not a baseball guy, but I'm kind of not surprised that the Twins are falling apart because their roster is made up of guys that are consistently hurt. All of their best players are always on the IL, so it doesn't surprise me that they're collapsing. It surprises me how well the Tigers are doing. But no, I'm not worried about it because look, it's a win-win situation. If that were to happen, what you were hinting at, Valeni was talking about it this week. Tigers sneak into the playoffs and knock out the Yankees in the first round. Cashman and Boone are out on their asses, which I want. I'm so done with Brian Cashman. I want him nowhere near this team anymore. And if Boone's got to go with him, it's the Yankees. They'll find a manager. So it wouldn't kill me if that happened. And, if it doesn't, it just means the Yankees are one step closer to the World Series. So,
yeah. It would kill me because I agree with your point, but it's just I can't do it again. I can't do that again. So you at least put up a facade that you care about the Tigers, so you're sort of immune to it. I, on the other hand, am under no sort of false pretense about that, and so it's extra bad for me when the Yankees lose to the Tigers, especially in the playoffs.
I think the difference now is I bet if you went down to Comerica Park this weekend or next week when the Rays are in town and you were like, hey, give me 8 players off of this team, I bet most people couldn't name this. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon now. A few years ago when they were deep into loving the Tigers, it was worse because you'd have to hear about it all year long.
Right. This is 2006. That's why I'm terrified.
Yeah, I don't think so because even in 2006, it wasn't bad. They were just happy to be there. It was the years after that, or the 1 year in particular, where it was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this anymore.
So I'm just saying the thought crept into my head yesterday, and I almost tweeted it out, but no, I'm going to save it for the show.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. And look, if the Yankees are going to choke, they're going to choke against a crappy team no matter what, right? I'd rather see them choke against the Tigers, so at least people I know that care about the Tigers more than I do get a little bit of joy out of it.
Screw them.
They're not the Red Sox. Speaking of, side note, Kenzie came home last week and was like, "Oh yeah, my color guard squad is learning Sweet Caroline for the halftime show." To which I said, "I will be booing your band at halftime when that song comes on." You better not. You better not. Watch me. I'll be there tomorrow, booing as soon as that song starts.
Pretend it's a Red Wings game.
Nope. Can't do it.
Fair. All right. Well, so you're not worried about the Yankees losing to the Tigers in the playoffs potentially. Are you worried about the Lions?
Long term, no. Like that game Sunday was just really aggravating to watch.
We're doing hot take sports radio right now. Come on, I need anger.
You okay? Well, so it's a good thing we're doing this on a Thursday night, because if we'd have done this when I got home Sunday, it would have been a lot worse because it was still fresh.
Right.
No, I'm not worried about the Lions. I'm just really aggravated that they had a chance to kind of separate themselves, especially with Jordan Love being out in Green Bay, the 49ers falling apart, the Eagles falling apart, the Cowboys getting stomped out. It was like, oh, this is your chance to kind of get a stranglehold on the conference. And I don't know, man. They couldn't get it done in the red zone. That's what it all comes down to. They just didn't play well in the red zone. Everything else, they were fine.
Yeah, it was very, very frustrating thing to see them constantly come up short in the red zone. Very unlike them, but it's a problem that's not specific to them. I mean, if you look at scoring's down all around the league, passing numbers are way down across the league. So they just gotta, Ben Johnson, if he's really this genius, he's got to get in there and he's got to figure out a way to adjust, because it certainly seems like defenses have adjusted to him. So,
see, I don't know if it's Ben Johnson's fault as much as it is Dan Campbell's. Dan Campbell needed to, like, in the second half of that game, Dan Campbell should have grabbed Ben Johnson and said, "I don't want to see that ball in the air again, especially in the fourth quarter. We're done throwing the football. We're going to do to them what we did to to the Rams, to Los Angeles in overtime. We're going to beat them on the ground. We're going to beat them into the dirt." And for whatever reason, he wanted to throw the ball 20 times in the fourth quarter. Second and 2, and he's throwing screen passes 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Line up and run it down their throats. It's what this team is built to do.
Especially once Vita Vea went down, it's like,
right.
So
it's like it's hard to get too upset. They 460 yards of offense. They ran 80 plays. The defense, the referees gifted the first 2 field goals of the game to Tampa. They could have been down 14-0 4 minutes into the game because of how crappy the officiating was in that first quarter. And the defense held. In my mind, the defense gave up 13 points, and the officials, or what would it have been, 14 points, and the officials gave 6 to Tampa. Because that wasn't interference on Arnold, and that certainly was interference on J-Mo on that pass, and they just didn't call it.
Yeah.
So it's the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I can't really blame this. I know you were upset about the thing at the end of the half, and he completely bungled that, but they still should have won that game, and they should have won easily.
He must have thought it was 4th down or something, right? That's the only explanation. Like, he lost track of downs.
Yeah, I maybe, or I just don't know. It's a mistake that happened. It's not inexcusable, but it's like, dude, you got to be better.
Yeah.
But I also think him coming out right away and being like, that was totally on me.
Yeah.
What do you say after that? You
Right.
can't pile on it. Dude was crying on the stage again because he screwed up so bad. Like,
Yeah.
you just got to move on. And again, if that happens at the end of the game, a lot more anger. That had nothing to do with Jared Goff being unable to get the ball to his receivers and skipping passes. It had nothing to do with the offensive line being unable to stop the pass rush at times. Like, they should have, like I said, they should have won that game by 2 scores. And
Right.
the offense just bungled it in the red zone multiple times.
Right. But if you're able to get that field goal, then at the end of the game, all you need is a field goal to win.
See, it doesn't work that way, though, because you
It
don't
does
know
work
what
that way.
No, it doesn't, because you don't. If when the score is different, the play calling is different. Your mindset is different throughout the entire course of the game. You have no clue what would have happened in the last 5 minutes of that game if the Lions are only down 2 instead of being down 6 or whatever they were. You just don't know. You don't know what kind of game plan Tampa would have been running if they knew, we've got to get another score here late. We're going to go for it on all 4 downs and not punt the ball away. Like, you just don't know. So I don't buy into that. If they make the field goal at the half, they win the game because then all they have to do is kick a field goal. Maybe. Or maybe the Lions come down and kick that field goal on the second to last drive. Tampa gets the ball back and doesn't go run, pass, punt. They go pass, and actually call an offense instead of trying to take timeouts down and put the game away that way.
Well, maybe Satch or maybe Hutch sets the record for sacks then.
Maybe
in that scenario. That's the thing that pissed me off most about the game, is that they wasted that godly performance by Hutch. He was
defense.
Right, but he specifically was a man possessed in that game.
Well, when you're blocking him with Cade Otton, you kind of expect him to win those matchups too.
He wasn't, he didn't win them the week before against the Rams. So,
whoa, he did. He just didn't get home because Stafford was throwing the ball in like 2.5 seconds. Didn't he have like 9 pressures last week?
Yeah, whatever. I think pressures are overrated.
Okay.
I do like sacks. That's what it's about. Get to the quarterback. That's your job. Not get there, almost get there. Get to the quarterback.
Okay. Maybe someone else on the defensive line should get to the quarterback then, because it seems like it's all falling on him right now again.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, that was a winnable game, again, against a team that it looks like, a lot of people expected them to fall off. Doesn't look at right now. It doesn't look like Tampa's fallen off.
They're not going anywhere.
So, and like the way I saw it going in is like each 4-game block you needed to go like 3-1, and now that means you got to go on the road against an Arizona team that looks, kind of scary with the weapons that they have, and have to beat them. And then, we all know the history with Seattle coming in here. So that'll be a Monday night game that should be a crazy crowd and everything. So you would think that they'd be able to finally get off that bugaboo. But
yeah, it's eerily similar to last year of like, that's a game you needed to win for the long-term plans of the team.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm just. People are freaking out. Why isn't Laporta getting his touches? I'm not worried about that as much, because I think that has more to do with their inability to stick with the run game. He'll get his touches when he gets his touches, but there's too many mouths to feed. He's not going to have the same season he had last year. If J-Mo is stepping up like it looks like he is through 2 games, that means there's less to go around to the other guys. And part of the reason why Laporta was so effective last year is they didn't have a number 2 that was consistent game in and game out, and he kind of was able to fill that role. Well, now it looks like J-Mo is firmly in the number 2. They're trying to get the ball to Gibbs more, clearly. So, yeah, Laporta's not going to get 11 targets a game anymore, and that's okay. You need it. What you need for him is when he gets those targets to make those Travis Kelce-type plays over the middle of the field. And get the run game going, open up play action. That shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, especially but looking ahead to this week, Arnold hasn't practiced yet this week. Rakestraw.
He's been sick though. Like,
okay.
It was an illness. It wasn't like an injury. He's been sick, I believe.
All right. It's still not great for a young guy like that to be missing practice, but that makes me feel a little bit better. But the other Rakestraw is still out. It looks like he hasn't practiced all week. What's going on? Like I missed if he even got hurt. Did he get hurt? Obviously, he got hurt in camp at some point.
No, he got hurt like 5 minutes before the game on Sunday in warm-ups.
Well, no, because he didn't play in week 1 either.
No, he played in week 1.
If he was inactive for week 1.
Oh, if he. I thought you said if he after you said something about Rakestraw. No. My bad. No. Yeah, I got you. No, I don't know what's going on there. Anzalone practiced today. So did Amon-Ra. So they look like they're both good. I was a little when Anzalone went into the concussion protocol. I'm like, oh crap, that's not good. But I feel like Campbell's played really well so far to start the season.
Campbell's played well. Barnes has played really well.
Yeah. Rodrigo, my guy.
Yeah.
He's been in there in the mix.
Yeah. If Barnes could have just someone could have caught that ball when he tipped that one at the end of the game, right down there by the end zone. That was like, oh God. That's when I kind of knew. I'm like, all right, yeah, they're not going to win this game.
It was when they got the ball back on that final drive and they called their timeout quick. That's when I started to give up hope. I'm like, that was terrible. Why are you throwing the ball over the middle of the field first play of the drive? Like
for like 9 yards too. Like it's one thing. One thing it was like 20 yards down the field, but yeah.
That was what was driving me nuts the most with the offense is Goff electing these underneath throws on like third down where or even earlier in the drive of like these 2-yard dump offs that go nowhere when you need 7. Like it reminded me of Joey Harrington football, to be honest. And I get you don't want to force it because then he throws picks like he did the one time he tried to force it downfield. But it's just like it's 3rd and 10. If you're going to throw the ball, at least try to get the first down. But
yeah, I just the play calling all game. The play calling was just not what it just felt like they saw the report. They're out. Their entire secondary is out or whatever it was. Like let's beat them in the air, and it's like that's not. Like I understand it, but that's not what you do. And for it to be so unbalanced, like it ended up being like 50 some passes to 27 runs. Like that's not how they win football games.
Right. Well, and like the first play of the game on offense, they took a deep shot. J-Mo burned the guy 50 yards. They didn't throw downfield the rest of the game that I can remember. Do you remember him taking a shot at all after that?
No, but I didn't, I don't know.
As much underneath coverage as Tampa was played in that game. Because they were definitely playing the sticks. We're going to let you catch the ball in front of us and we're going to rally and tackle before you get the first down. Well, if they're going to play short up near the line and not give you too much, and you already burned them over the top, and they're playing back to prevent that, it seems like the 15 to 20-yard route would have been open. And it seemed like that's where Amon-Ra was feasting for most of the game. But they just didn't go back there. They kept throwing these screen passes and these little hitch routes and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? But
But to your point, the O line seemed to have a problem in pass protection.
That's fair too.
But again, that goes back to if you establish the run and get the defense on their heels, that makes pass protection easier because you can go to the play action or whatnot. So
the drive that they scored the touchdown on in the third quarter, Gibbs, they kept feeding Gibbs and he broke off a couple runs. At the end of the game, when they got the ball down in close and then couldn't close the job out, they got it down there by letting Gibbs run the football. I don't know what they were doing. It's call it a learning experience on to next week, I guess.
Yeah. The good news is they haven't lost back-to-back games in almost 2 years. So hopefully that trend continues.
I feel like they're going to have to score 34 points to win this game. I feel like Kyler Murray's going to eat them alive on Sunday. I'm actively concerned about this game, and he's what they do is exactly what we have problems with on defense, and I love the way the defense has played so far. But Kyler Murray is really good running. He's good at getting out of the pocket. Baker feasted on us getting out of the pocket in last week. I'm not putting the W right next to this.
Oh, I'm not either.
And that's where the concern could come in. It's almost exactly like last year, because I remember coming out of the Seattle game being like, they lose this one to Atlanta, the season's over. Because then you got to go to Green Bay and blah, blah, blah. And you know, they lose this week, and then Seattle comes into town. You talked about the 4-game block. They could very easily be 1-3 coming out of this, and then what happens?
Then they got to go
to Dallas coming out of the bye. So,
well, that's like that game better be heavy run, because obviously they can't. The Saints ran all over them. But
Alvin Kamara, yeah.
But all right. Well, let's get out of here. Hopefully they go down there and they pull it out, because exactly what I didn't want to happen this year. Can't deal with it, Matt. Can't deal with it. So, but all right. Well, thank you everyone who watched. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Again, catch me tomorrow night around 10 o'clock Eastern on Late Night Grin for a WWF One Night Only 1997 Grin Along. Yeah, that'll be fun. And we'll be back next week, hopefully talking about Lions victory and whatever else happens in the world of wrestling. So until then, see ya.